Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Random Thoughts. Um, this random thought I had regards to this one person. I don't want to say anchor because he doesn't really report news. He's a talking head. He's a personality on Fox. His name is Tucker Carlson. And he said something, and just watching something on him, and a phrase that he says that I've heard other people say before was that they don't see color, and they wish everybody would go with this, and they don't see color. It's like, oh, color doesn't exist to me, and this and that. And a lot of times it's something that racist people or people who have those type of thoughts say to try to hide their racism. Or maybe, maybe they may not even be just racist, but they may have some problematic thoughts about race or that issue. And I want to try to not speak for all black people because I am not qualified to do such. But I will say is that as a black person, the issue hasn't been that people aren't colorblind. I don't want you to not see my color. I'm perfectly fine with you seeing me as a black man. I would appreciate it if you saw me and acknowledged me as a black man. Our issue is treating us differently because of that. Treating us less than because of that, being hostile to us because of that. It doesn't do anybody any justice to eliminate that aspect of who they are as a person, just to say, oh, well, we're all, I don't see color, I don't see race. It's like, no, you can see it, just don't go about some preconceived notion based on it. I believe that you should be able to celebrate, we should all be able to celebrate all of our differences, and at the same time acknowledge that we are all different. We have different cultures, different backgrounds, that we come together and we can celebrate it, but at the same time realize that even with our differences, we are similar in the fact that, hey, we have, we all want, our kids to have a better life than what we have. We want our kids to prosper. We want the opportunity to live our life, to not have to struggle, to live our life comfortably, to do well, to succeed in life. I believe that's something that we all strive for. And the whole I don't see color is a cop-out. That's just my opinion. I feel like this one is pretty short. It's so short, I almost don't know what to do. Well, I guess I can talk some more about Mr. Carlson, Mr. Tucker Carlson, in that he is one of those people who also acts as if he doesn't know what white supremacy is, or white supremacist. And this guy who he's of the family of the Swanson frozen dinner family. Supposed to be a well-read person, a educated person. He constantly asks, what is white supremacy? And white supremacy, he's always asking that as if he can't, Google or open a Webster dictionary, or, those are even online too, to just see what it is. But it's a way of gaslighting his audience, and the ones who know what he's talking about and what he's doing. like I said, just as some people say, well, I don't see color, I don't see race as a way around saying racist stuff or what have you. You have him who feigns outrage or some type of emotion when they're called out for their, white supremacist viewpoints and things that they're saying. And they do it with the notion of, oh, because I didn't say the N-word, because I didn't use some racial slur, oh, how could I be racist? It's like, you can you don't have to call somebody a slur to say something racist towards them. The fact that you say that diversity hurts this country, that bringing in more people of color, more diverse people hurts this country, and that saying, well, I think that there's nothing wrong in saying that I don't like the fact that my country no longer looks the way it looks like when I was growing up, is one of those kind of read between the lines, because there's, and it's all in context. Context is key. It's not just that he's saying these things, it's also in the context and the other things surrounding what he's saying and how he's saying it, and the people that he's speaking to. And just different things he talked about. Talking about Black Lives Matter protests, he said, well, these people don't work, they've never worked, they don't pay taxes, which is like, well, how do you know that all these people don't have jobs? And if they have jobs, then they automatically pay taxes. But it's an assumption. It's like, oh, well, they just want to tear down everything that you and I, that we built. And all of a sudden, they have all the power. It's this theme of trying to teach fear of the other. It's like, remember, we have all the power, but, now that they're doing this, they're going to have the power and you won't have any, so be afraid of them. But then when the Capitol riots happened, he's like, there was a riot happening. It's like, he says, is it because that the election was stolen from them, or that's what they, we're hearing now? That's because Trump said this and that and the other. And he says now as if people didn't say anything about it before. As if even before the election, Trump wasn't constantly saying that the election is rigged, the election is false, what have you. And Carlson wasn't echoing the same. He's saying, and then he tries to pump them up with more fake outrage, saying, well, I think these people are perfectly capable of coming to their own conclusion, that they saw what was happening and they decided to act out against it, and it's those type of things. And he's not the only one that has done that. The Capitol riot people are patriots because they're fighting against an unjust system that is only unjust because they have said it. That is something that they started. They put that earworm in their head, and they've, been constantly feeding it. So it got to that point with no evidence. Where on the other hand, we've constantly experienced and have seen police brutality and injustice for lower income people and minorities. And then when we vocalize that, or when politicians bring it up, we're told, oh, well, the media is the one telling you to not like the police or not like this. It's like, no, my life experience has kind of taught me that. And it's all surrounded by the notion of you're supposed to have power and they aren't. And anytime it seems like there may be a shift in power, then there's an issue. Anytime that these people who shouldn't have any power, it is an issue. It's the phrase when you're used to supremacy, anything close to equality seems like oppression. When you're used to doing and saying what you want to do and not being held accountable, anytime there's the slightest bit of pushback, all of a sudden your people are feeling oppressed. You feel like you can't do what you want to anymore and say what you want to. I think that's something I'll probably get into later, but I think for right now, I'll probably have more to say about Mr. Carlson later, but this has been my random thought. Thank you for listening. Check out my podcast, Bold Expressions, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are found. You can also check out more of these type of videos on my YouTube page, which if you found this, you should already know my YouTube page is Bold Expressions Podcast. If you'd like to support this podcast and other endeavors that I have, it would be greatly appreciated. Go to anchor.fm/Carl-Liggins, and whatever you're able to donate would be greatly appreciated. If you don't have anything to donate, just the fact that you listen, like, share, subscribe, just get it out there. Listen to it in the background if you can. It's greatly appreciated. Have a good day, good night, good evening, whenever you listen to this. Bye.